All right, so now in this one we're going to create the controller function. Okay, but personally I feel more comfortable having this if else statement complete and just putting my console.log inside here. All right, so that's it. Now let's come, and you see our instruction says that we should create the controller function. I'm going to come to my user controller, yeah, my user controller, and we're going to start here. So the forgot password block here, that's where we're going to start. So I'll delete this guy and let's proceed. So the first thing is that when a user tries to reset their password, they are going to submit their email to us. If you come to the processes, you see here that the user clicks on the forgot password button, and then it will show them a form where they will insert their email. So those are the processes that we need to take. So here I'll say const, and I'm going to destructure the email. It's going to come in the request body, so that's going to be equal to request.body. Right, so when we get the email, we want to quickly check our database if the email is in our database, because if the email is not in our database, then it's a wrong email. So here I'm going to say const, and I'll just put it inside the user. That's going to be equal to await, and then I'll use my user model. So user model dot find one. And what do I want to find? Well, I want to find that email if it exists in my database. What if the email does not exist? What do we want to do? So here I'll say if there is no user with that email, then let me just bring this down. Sorry, so that I have space here. So if there is no user, then I want to throw an error. So first response.status, and that's going to be fall for not found, so that user was not found. And then I'm just going to throw a new error that will say user does not exist. So sorry about that, so I'll say user does not exist. Okay, yeah, so that's it. Now if the user exists, then I want to create a token, a reset password token. And just for a quick reminder, this is what I mean when I say I want to create a token. See this string here, this very long string after this reasonable URL, .vercel.app / reset password. This last piece of string, that is our reset token. That's what I'm going to create right now. So I'll come here, let me expand this guy, and remember we have a token model as well. So let me import that token model so I don't forget. So I'll come down here and import the token model because it's a new piece of this thing we want to save in our database. So import it, and we have that there. So let's come back to where we are. Where are we? Okay, right here. Great. So like I said, I want to create a reset token first. So let me add a comment here. I'll say create reset token. Great. So how am I going to create that reset token? I'll create it right inside of Node.js. So let's start by saying let reset token be equal to, now I'm going to use a node module that comes with Node.js, and that's the crypto module. So I'll say crypto. So you see I already have the completion there, dot random bytes. Okay, so that's the module we're going to use, and then I'll just say I want 32 strings or 32 characters. Then lastly I'm going to convert it to string, ng. Okay, inside of this one I'll just make it a hex, which is like the format, so hex. Then lastly I'm going to append the user ID, so it's going to be a very long string. So I'll say plus user dot underscore id dot underscore id. This is going to be our reset token, and one of the reasons why I added the user._id is I want it to be unique. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to log it to the console just so that we can see. So here I'll just say log reset token so that you can just see what it looks like. And you know what, I'll log it to the console before. Anyway, let me just log everything to the console. I wanted to remove the user ID, but I'm sure you get the point. Then let me send something. So response.send, I'll just say forgot password. Okay, great. So now let's go and test out this. So we're going to add an email in our Insomnia, and then we'll test it out just to get the reset token in the console. I'll save this file and wait for it to reset, wait for my server to restart, and then I'll just come here. So in this forgot password here, we need at least an email. So let me just delete this guy, and then I'll just add an email here, and the email is just going to be user4. I'm sure we have user4. I think it's at gmail.com. Just to confirm, I'm just going to go to the login. So user4@gmail.com, it exists. So let's come to forgot password and let's fire this off. So I'll send, and it's going to, crypto is not defined. Oh, okay, I need to define crypto as well. So let me import crypto. Let me see if I can auto import it. Is that the right way to import it? I'm not sure, but let me click on that and just check up. Okay, so it did not auto import, so let me just import it myself. I'll just come down here and say require, and the name of that module is crypto, CRYPTO, and that's also the name of, yeah, so that's it, require. And then I'm just going to go ahead and save. Let's come down here to make sure that we do not break anything down here. Crypto, yeah. So let's go ahead and test this one more time. I'll come back here. My server has started, and then I'll fire send. So if you we get a response 200, okay, and we get the forgot password. But if you come to your terminal, you see that we now have this long string of character. This is our reset token. This is what we want to append to the front end link and send to the user's email. So when they click on this, we'll now check it, compare it to our database, because as we are sending it to the user, we're also saving it to our database. All right, so let's continue with what we're doing here. Now remember, when we wanted to save the password to our database, we hashed it. We're going to do identically the same thing with the reset token. So we're going to hash it before we save it to the database. Let me get rid of this console.log. I don't think it needs to be here. So here I'm just going to add a comment and say hash token before saving to DB. All right, so how are we going to hash the token? You know, in the previous one we use bcrypt. We're not going to use bcrypt here. We're just going to use, you know, something else that comes with Node.js. So here I'll create a variable. I'll call this variable hashed token, because I don't want to save it exactly as it is here in our database. I want to modify it, okay, or I want to encrypt it. So here I'm going to say crypto, and I'll say dot create hash. So it has a method called create hash, and we're going to specify the algorithm we want to use. So this one is going to be SHA-256. Okay, then also I'm going to say dot update. In other words, in this place now I want to specify what I want to hash, you know. So I want to hash this reset token, so I'll just slot that in here. Or I want to update this reset token to something that's a hashed version, so I'll slot in that reset token, and then I'll then say dot digest. All right, and this is just going to be this hex here. So we're just going to come here and say hex. Okay, now I'm going to fire this off again, but this time I'm going to log the hashed token to the console. So here I'll say log, so hashed token, so that you're going to see the difference between this previous one and this one. Okay, are you ready? So I'll go ahead and save, and then let's bring up Insomnia to test it out. So I'll come here and fire this off. So you see we get this in the console. Now if I bring this up like this, I just want to compare the two so that you can see. So you see, look at the first one, long. Look at the second one, it's different from the first one. The first one starts with E4, the second one starts with 5-3. So we've successfully been able to hash the token. In other words, we've encrypted it, we've maxed it before we will now go ahead and save it to our database. So the only thing that is left for us now, well, not the only thing, or the next piece of action that we need to do is to save this token to our database. But before we do that, I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to break it here, and in the next one we're going to do the remaining part. All right, see you in the next one then.